$1 million and you're dealing in certain things, like how much more do you need? Especially if you know you get caught, you can do jail time, lose your career. Put a bad image on yourself or your family or on the NBA.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by Quantrell Auto Group. QuantrellForLife.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Alan Cutler. Honored and pleased to be with you. Thank you so much for joining us, whether it's live now, tonight on a podcast, or tomorrow morning, sometime this weekend, anywhere in the world, as more and more of you folks are listening online, live, and the podcast. And, of course, our numbers are going up on radio on 1300 AM and 92.5 FM. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. There's a ton in those two things. You know, I was going to start with the negative, but I'm going to do the positive. Don't you think I should do the positive?
Start on a good note.
Okay. I can't take credit for any of this, and I'll tell you who did this in a second. I wasn't this smart. So Pope, as everyone knows, is really pushing number 9 and things into 9. 27 with 27 NBA players from Kentucky in the NBA divided by 3 is 9. September is the 9th month. Mark Pope was born September of 72. 7 plus 2 is 9. Mark Pope's, this is getting kind of goofy. Listen carefully, Jimmy. This is really goofy. Mark Pope's NBA career stats averaged 1.9 points per game. 1 times 9 is 9. He had 63 assists in his career. 6 plus 3 is 9. He had 261 rebounds. This is really goofy. 2 plus 6 plus 1 equals 9. I don't know if this is crazier, but Mark Pope's final year of basketball, he shot 33.3% from the field. 3 plus 3 plus 3 equal 9. In his last year, he played 9 games. And that was in the 04-05 season. 4 plus 5 equal 9. Mark Pope started coaching in the 09 season. And if you do Coach Pope, you want to count the letters? It's 9. I mean, this is crazy. Stephen Peak from KSR came up with this. Bless you. And by the way, Stephen's going to join us next week. He's a really interesting fellow, does a heck of a job with KSR. He's a very thoughtful guy, really good videographer, and I'm looking forward to it. And then when I asked him to come on, he said he's going to tell me next week that I had something to do with him getting involved in broadcasting. So I had no idea, by the way. So, Jimmy, you know what I responded back to him? I've never met Billy Rutledge. He does the 9 a.m. show on KSR. Never met him. Did a show with him one time when he was filling in for Gabriel. Because when I did my book, Cut to the Chase, Gabriel was like the only person didn't invite me to push the book. So I called somebody high up in the organization and said, this is pretty silly. He said, would you do it if Billy Rutledge was doing the show? Sure. And Jimmy, early on the show, he told me he listened to the Bengals radio network, and because of me, he got into broadcasting. So my line back to Stephen last night, does Matt know how much I've helped KSR? I thought it was pretty funny. So did he. But anyway, forget about these two young people who have a wonderful future in the business. Jimmy, this 9 thing is goofy. I mean, it's past goofy. I mean, it's I almost feel like saying, is this sort of predetermined?
This is like weird to the point of, all the similarities between the JFK and Abraham Lincoln assassinations where you can like connect the dots. This is like on that level where you keep looking into it and you're like, how is all of this still connecting? How?
I have the sheet. I used to use that, the Lincoln, Kennedy in speeches when I did motivational speeches back in the day. Surprised doing this show almost 3 years, I'm not asked to speak again. I really thought that would be something that would be fun for corporations and stuff like that. Had a lot of letters of praise when I did it. Jimmy, I made up this thing called the 7 Secrets of Being a Winner. and basically off sports stories that I have compiled for decades and decades and decades. This is crazy. Does this mean this whole thing is predetermined?
Seems like it.
Oh, by the way, where was Kentucky ranked preseason?
9. It was never meant to be last year. It was supposed to be this year.
So there was no way now knowing this Kentucky could win last year, and now sounds really stupid. It's in the bag, right?
Seems like it. I mean,
Walter Hawthorne will join us at 12:30. His son Braden plays for Kentucky. I'm looking forward to a fun conversation, finding out more about his son. I bet it's fun. Van Hiles at 1 o'clock. Gene Abel at 1:30 next Friday at this time. I don't think anybody's going to bake me a cake, but it's really hit me the last couple of days, completing 3 years next Friday. It's interesting. Very interesting. All right, let's get to Shaq's comments. And I'm not one for conspiracy theories. I also don't believe that much in coincidences. So this gambling problem with the work done by the FBI, with over 30 arrested, and Chauncey Billups is by far the biggest name. Don't you find it interesting, Jimmy, that this thing breaks on the return of the NBA to NBC when there have been some great games? Ratings are astronomical. The NBA is flying high. And I don't know, Jimmy, didn't you kind of think of the possibility that they just got this information and had to break it? Or did you think maybe they've had it for a few days or a week or whatever, and they decided because of timing to put this out when it would hurt the NBA the most? I'm not going to get political about this. I've seen some political theories. I am not going there. Not going there. But it's odd of the coincidence that this thing is coming out when it comes out. It's just odd. Very strange. Jimmy, I'm sure you've thought of this, right? Like now, of all times, great ratings starting it off. Now you got the guys from TNT, what many consider it, I'm with it, the best sports show ever on television, moves to ESPN, which I think will help ESPN tremendously. And the talent in the NBA has never been better. And there's more young talent than ever before. And the intensity, yeah, I think is really good. I've been saying it for years. There are some bad teams, but the intensity is really good. How about SGA? They played now 2 double overtime games in the first 2 games, which is goofy. It's just goofy. He had 55 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists. Indiana lost to OKC 141-135, and they have a couple young players for Indiana that were spectacular. Spectacular. I hope it's not a coincidence, but Jimmy, how could it not be a coincidence? How could it not be a coincidence? This thing breaks when it could hurt the NBA the most. And by the way, I know nothing. Would it surprise me other things like this have been going on that hasn't been either reported or proven? Am I going to guess that there are other people that they're investigating that we don't know? Yep, be my guess. It's been my thought all along with this stuff. Now, the stuff with the poker games and all that, didn't know anything about that. I just didn't. Am I surprised? Nope. Not surprised. So give me a yes or no with a quick thought. Do you think this is a coincidence that this whole gambling thing broke when it broke? When it was the only way it would be bigger if it was Game 7 of the championship, and you can't hold this till then, obviously, and who knows if there'll be a Game 7. So knock that off the table. But if you had to pick the worst time for publicity for the NBA, this is it, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, 3 days into the NBA season starting, it does seem strange that this investigation that, like you said, unless they just recently got some information, they've been working on this for a couple of years now. So it just happened to break 3 days into the beginning of the season. interesting. Like you said, with the coincidences. When it comes to certain things in life, I don't believe in coincidences either.
By the way, I bet you agree with me. I don't think this is going to affect the NBA TV ratings. I don't. Here's the part that I don't get when you talk about being stupid, okay? Jimmy, I don't remember the year. If you want to look it up, it's great. I'm talking about it's a long, long, long time ago, and I've talked about this before. Tulane, of all schools, was in a point-shaving scandal. This is a long time ago. I was doing TV, so it's not like when I was a child. And I will never forget this story. The people that busted Tulane was Vegas. Now think about that. Vegas is the one that busted Tulane because they have a board. And it was a game during the week. I think if I remember, it was like a Tuesday night or something like that. And the Vegas people aren't stupid. All of a sudden, in a mundane game in the middle of the week, which wouldn't get much action, all of a sudden, boom, there's a ton of action on the game. And so to the Vegas people, that was a huge red flag. So basically, they called it in. And their logic was, we don't want this crap either. We don't want it. And so they purposely wanted this out because they didn't want it to hurt their gambling. And they wanted people to know that they try to run a clean organization. I thought it was really smart. Really smart. Jimmy, I don't know if you know the year. It's not important. It's a long time ago.
1985.
Okay. But the part that, and I remember, back then saying the same thing. My thought is there's more of these things. We just don't find out because it's human nature. It's gambling. Okay. And even without the DraftKings of the world and all that kind of stuff, do I think this stuff has been going on? Yeah, I do. It's human nature. It's what it is. I don't know, Jimmy, just the coincidence of this stuff, it reeks. It just reeks. And when is enough enough? When is enough enough? When do you have to have the juice? The part of all this that bothers me the most, the poker games, that's crazy. I never gave in that thought, but the fact, they can see cards and all that kind of stuff with the technology today, once I read the story, I went, oh, I can believe this, really can. But I didn't think about it with technology. But the thing that bothers me the most is when you have, it's called a prop bet, right? And you can make a bet during a game or something like that, and a player shares information that he's going to take himself out of a game, and there's a certain number of points, whatever you can bet on, obviously how many points the over and under, and now you don't play the rest of the game. And I believe it was over $250,000. And this is the part, Jimmy, I think is dumber than a box of rocks. How could you be stupid enough not to realize when you do something like that, it's a red flag? Who bets over $250,000 on a guy named Rozier, who's been a good basketball player for a long time? I can't imagine there was ever $20,000 bet on him in points. Without knowing, I bet it wasn't $10,000 ever in his career. He's not that big. This is not LeBron. I mean, come on. So really, you think you're going to fool people? You think these organizations don't have something together to enhance their security? To me, that's incredible stupidity. Like the poker games, that's really bad. That's as bad as bad can be. But when you're really stupid and you get caught, when I saw, was it 259,000? Whatever the hell it was over 250,000. When I saw that, you know what I did? I read that part after I was off with the show yesterday. I started laughing. Literally. Yeah. It's like, how could you be that stupid? You're shaking your head, Jimmy. Really?
It just, and the people that they can think they can get away with certain things with the game, it's like you give them your social security number when you sign up for these apps. You don't think they're going to know every bet that you're doing, who you are, where you are. Like, but that's how you get caught with stuff like this, is trying to, you think like, oh, we can just do it this one time or just these two times. Like, they're going to look at this. I don't understand it.
My guess, and we're going to do a DraftKings commercial in a minute or so, but my guess is organizations like DraftKings have like really sophisticated computers, like it's part of their business for protection of what they do.
Yeah.
Hello. Wow. And I really like what Shaq said. And I know it was, at the top of the show, but why would you put everything you have in jeopardy? Look, everybody's innocent until proven guilty, okay? And maybe these guys are all innocent. Not that you believe that, do you, Jimmy? You think these guys are all innocent?
Not all of them.
No. And you got to give everybody, I really believe, the benefit of the doubt until you find out. And this is going through the course and the process and all that kind of stuff. Chauncey Billups, for example, has a reputation of being a really good guy. And Chauncey Billups had a hell of a career. And if Chauncey Billups was a bad guy, he would not have been an NBA head coach. I don't think jerks get those kind of jobs. He's really well liked and a champion basketball player. And even if he's deemed innocent, don't you think there'll be people that never believe it? There'll be people that never look in the same, even if he's deemed innocent, don't you think?
Oh, yeah. It's the court of public opinion doesn't mean more than the justice system, but in a way, I mean, his reputation for the rest of forever is done. He's going to be linked to this forever.
And I saw that De Niro, and I should have mentioned yesterday, Laster, his name was out there, and then he was involved with UK football, and he was with the team for a couple of years. And I got to be honest, I don't remember him at all. The sharing of information, dumber than a box of rocks. We've played a similar soundbite. I want to do the Larry Bird thing next. We played something like this in the first year. And so maybe you've heard this before. Larry Bird is with Ralph Sampson, Sean Kemp, Dirk Minifield, all kinds of people. And he's telling a story about going up in high school. And I would think by now there's a whole bunch of people that know this part of the story, that Larry Bird, just like Charles Barkley, just like Draymond Green. I think I've told that story. Draymond Green was coming to Kentucky as long as Tubby was the coach. And the only reason why he went to Michigan State is because Tubby wasn't the coach. Charles Barkley wanted to come to Kentucky, but Kentucky didn't want him. They thought he was too short and too fat. And by the way, I'm not ripping anybody, but he wanted to come here. Can you imagine if all these guys ended up coming here? How many more championships would Kentucky have if Barkley came here? How many more championships would Kentucky have if Larry Bird came here? Right? How many more championships would, if Tubby continued coaching with Draymond Green, who was the epitome of toughness? Do I think Tubby could have turned it back around? Absolutely, unequivocally, I do. I think he would have started as a freshman. I think he would have changed toughness here tremendously. So here's the clip on Larry Bird talking about he wanted to come to good old Kentucky.
We were talking. So what transpired? They coached together. That's basketball guys were like, "No, we can't let this happen." I want to go Kentucky, but Kentucky quit recruiting me, so it was down to Indiana State and IU. So I went to IU. Financially, I couldn't stay.
Okay,
I just couldn't do it. I was homesick, or I didn't like the coach. One thing about me, I always say the coaches coach and the players play.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever they tell you, you got to do. You might not like it, but you got to do it. That's what they do.
Right.
It's their expertise. I don't think me and Coach and I would.
How about that? Larry Bird comes here, and I think Joe B has how many more championships? At least one. At least one more. And when you get another championship, it helps recruiting. Here's another one. Ralph Sampson, who was in that panel. There are people who believe till the moment he put on the Virginia hat that he was coming to Kentucky. Pretty crazy. How about if Sean Kemp played here, got to play his full career here, as great as he was? Jimmy, if all these things happened, Kentucky would have 2 to 4 more NCAA championships than UCLA. You'll never know, but that's what I believe it. I want to flip quickly. Jimmy, would you cue up Seth McCowan on Cutler? And we might play some Bush sound afterwards if we have time before going to the break. But I think it's incredible how Cutler now is being deemed the man. And I stand by this. He threw a pick. It was a bad pass. I wrote it in my notes. It was a bad pass. And then that's when I have to be careful, too, because it was a bad pass. But he said after the game, it was my fault. I slipped, and I was trying to throw it out of bounds. And by the way, Jimmy, I don't think for a second, you don't either, that had he not slipped, he'd have thrown the damn ball out of bounds, right? Probably would have thrown it really far out of bounds. And he slipped. It happens. So am I being too homerish to Cutler Bowley? I'm going to give him a mulligan just for the sake of it. Is what it is. He threw a pick, okay? The kid was 31 of 39. For a team that it seemed like the forward pass was like kryptonite. That's a little too strong, don't you think?
A little bit, but in recent memory, it's not too far off.
And I'm going to ask Van Hals this when he joins us later, but I really believe if they keep on throwing the ball like this, whoever the coach is next year, you can recruit much better wideouts. Why wouldn't you want to come here? Seriously. Actually, it's more enticing because there'll be openings for starting jobs. Really, opening for starting jobs. And maybe 3 guys like Law, who's done a nice job. They got to get him the damn ball more, by the way. Maybe 3 guys like Law show up, and all of a sudden you could have a nice, fairly deep wideout room. By the way, as bad as the wideouts are, Jimmy, they're not dropping the ball a lot. Remember how bad of a problem that was last year? They're just not dropping it a lot. Okay, this is Seth McCowan. He talks about Cutler, and he's a pretty straight-up kid after everything he's been through, and I think it's a terrific soundbite.
That's right. I've always, even at the beginning of the season, told him that his role on this team was going to be a huge factor. Regardless of who's starting at quarterback, because just his presence in the quarterback room had added such a competition to the area, as far as, everyone to really be on their P's and Q's and
on his P's and Q's. Jimmy, let's jump to Bush Hamden, and the offense talks on Tuesday. And I don't think anybody can question this about Cutler. He is tough. He is tough. He is tough. Here is offensive coordinator, Bush Hamden.
Which clip of Bush?
I'm sorry. I thought I said clip number 4. My bad. Plus, when you think about it, just give me a thumbs up, Jimmy. If you've been listening to Bush, and it's not like it was negative before, but he's changed. He's changed because Cutler has changed. And I sort of got the feeling he's having fun working with Cutler because he's working with a kid with a great deal of talent who's only getting better. I mean, in reality, what the heck is an offensive coordinator? You're a teacher. It's what you are. You're a teacher. And so now, if Bush Hamden, and I don't know him personally, I mean, he did the show once or twice. I think it was only once. Anyway, really good coaches like to be teachers. That's what they are. And when you have a good student who's improving and it's right in front of your eyes, even though this team can't score touchdowns, it's crazy how they've been so bad scoring touchdowns. But you can see that he can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and you can see that he sees the potential in Cutler. He works with him all the time. And I think Bush Hamden has a little more pep in his step because of Cutler Bowley. I mean it. Here is clip number 4.
It's the toughness thing, right? Even it's his first start, he goes to Georgia, he takes hits. It's just like mentally, he's not too up and down. Like he knows what he's got to do. He knows what he's got to do to get better. I don't think he's listening to the outside noise too much, one way or another, whether it's good or bad. And he's come out here and been extremely deliberate about his work.
What do you think about his work? Can you feel? Come on, you've heard the Bush sound bites that we've been playing for weeks and weeks, can you feel a little more energy in Bush Hampton's voice? Can you feel like he's a little more excited? Hey, I got something to work with. Hey, this kid could be really good. Hey, this kid is already good. He might be really, really special. Hey, I get to work with him. I don't think I'm reading into this, Jimmy. I can see it. I can feel it. I can taste it from his tone of voice. I'm big on tone of voices my whole career. Tone of voices are such a big part of what I do. I can feel it in his tone of voice.
He seems like someone who got the keys to a very fast car, and he's finally out of the city congestion traffic, and he's on an open highway. And he realizes he can see it there, and he's trying to not be too excited, but you're right. You can feel a little different energy.
That's a really good analogy, Jimmy. I like that. Wish I thought about that. You ever used that one before?
I haven't. It just came to me, but you can see it on his face too. That he doesn't seem, not that he was always down and more quiet tone when he was talking, but he seems like he's just got a different extra pep in his step.
Pep in his step. Walter Hawthorne coming up next. Jimmy, I think it's probably best you give him a call. And don't forget, your season, your shot. The NFL season is rolling, and every touchdown can bring you closer to a payout with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. From first touchdown scored to anytime TD props or the thrill of live in-game betting, every snap is loaded with opportunity. How about this? Bengals favored by 6.5 against the Jets. I don't get it. I'm not giving advice. I thought it'd be much higher. What do I know? I am not a gambling expert. I leave that to Brad Taylor. And Tennessee is favored by only 9 over Kentucky, according to DraftKings. Wow. Again, I don't give advice. I just find these two numbers interesting, and I could feel how it would go if I was going to bet $5 on each game. By the way, speaking of $5, you bet $5 and get 200 in bonus bets instantly, plus score over 200 off NFL Sunday Ticket and YouTube TV. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code LEXSPORTS. That's code LEXSPORTS to get 200 in bonus bets instantly when you place your first $5 bet. Plus, over 200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube TV in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLE. 18 plus. Kentucky only. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. NFL Sunday Ticket offer for new subscribers only and auto renews until canceled. Digital games and commercial use excluded. Restrictions apply. Additional NFL Sunday Ticket terms at youtube.com/go/NFL Sunday Ticket/terms. Limited time offer. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by Quantrell Auto Group. QuantrellForLife.com.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. Have a no filter. Hi, this is Alan Cutler. The Quantrell Auto Group has a great deal for this month. Subaru. The Outback is special, so check this out. 0%. That's right. 0% interest for 36 months. And if you want to spread it out to 72 months, 1.9%. 0% interest for 36 months. Don't forget, the Quantrell family of dealerships is the right place to get your next Subaru, and they promise you the best in sales, service, and gimmicks.
I'm Kathy Bingaman. Over the holiday, there was an attempted fraud attack. My personal banker, Mary Rose, and I networked together. And the first thing that I thought of was I have to text her. And it was just within the next few minutes, there was an entire team that came together collectively. And that's just not the type of service that you typically get from your bank.
That's Kathy's story. Now let's get to work on yours. Republic Bank. Time to thrive. Member FDIC.
On the outside, great selection of snacks is fully steady while the services rounding up the back. They're rounding a turn. And it's Clark's Pump and Shop.
Get in the winner's circle with Clark's Pump and Shop. Stop by and pick up 5-hour energy shots, 2 for $4.99, or Roll-Weight sticks, buy one, get one free. Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
Back to No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler. Gas on Apple, Spotify, and Google, Monday through Friday.
Welcome back. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM. Honored and pleased. Joining us for the first time, Walter Hawthorne, dad of Braden. And I'm going to guess you're either going to be on your way soon to come to Lexington to watch Kentucky play Purdue tonight. And I bet you are pumped up. Yes, sir?
Yes, sir. I sure am. Yes, I am. Actually, I am. Technically, I'm supposed to have been at home while doing this, so I'm on the road now. My youngest son played in Georgia, and I'm on the road going back to West Virginia for a quick second to Huntington, and then I'm turning right back around coming to Lexington.
Well, let's put it this way. If you have to buy a new car 5 years from now because you spent all this time driving around to watch your sons play, that's a blessing. You're lucky and blessed.
Yes, sir.
And I can feel it in your voice, even though we don't know each other. So, obvious question: when did you know that Braden was going to be this special? Come on, if I asked you when he was 8, hey, someday he's going to play at Kentucky, what would you have said? I'm nuts or what?
If you said Kentucky, I don't know, but I actually, to be honest with you, I knew since he was born that he was going to be special. It was actually a vision that was given to me. But as far as Kentucky, I never dreamed, you know what I mean, like the way that it played out that, it did. But it was just something special about that, like being that, he loved, watching that school when he grew up. It was his favorite team. Like, back then, if you would have told me that, I don't know, like I'm speechless when it comes to that part. It's a blessing. I'll put it that way, like a total blessing.
It's a blessing, no question about it. Tell me about the vision.
Yes, sir.
I believe in stuff like this. Tell me about your vision, about your son Braden, and how you knew from this vision he was going to be special. Was he born yet? Before he was born? After he was born? A little kid? Do you mind explaining? I think
it was like cool. It was like right when he was born, basically. Like, I'm a man of faith. I'm just gonna tell you, like I am, and it was a vision that I seen, and that was given to me, and ever since then, I knew. I don't really tell a lot of people that when people are starting to know now, but it's just like it was something that it was a vision that I seen. Like I still won't tell people the exact vision, but it was a vision that I did see. So like yeah. And, sticking to the faith and believing. And like I told him, like he knows the story, you know what I mean? And I waited to tell him until he was actually in high school before I ever told him the story about it. But, yeah. And, with that faith and, he believes and, he working hard. You can't go wrong.
It's amazing how many guys end up making it with hard work and how many guys who have the talent who don't make it because they don't work hard. So was this vision for him to play in the NBA? Was it Kentucky? Was it college? I'm just trying to get a feel for it.
It was the NBA, actually, to be honest with you.
Wow.
Yes.
Back in the day, were you a big-time player?
I played, but not like no. No, I wasn't, actually. So, I played in high school. So I have an older son. I had my first son when I was 18. So my playing days were over. Like I had to grow up, become a father, and learn the ropes, with my oldest son. So that was my responsibility. So I went straight to work.
It's a great story. Is there anything else about the vision you're comfortable sharing? And if you're not, don't share.
No, that's about it,
okay.
As far as that goes. But, yeah, it's just one of them things. And, to this day, I'm thankful. You know what I mean? And and that's nothing that I'm ashamed of. You know what I mean? To be thankful, for what God has done for my family. So.
Oh, I think that's thankful 1,000,000%. Like
Yes,
1,000,000%.
yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
when he was first introduced to the media, and I don't think many people knew that much about your son, West Virginia, that kind
Right.
of stuff. But he told a
Right.
story that I thought was beautiful. So let me give you an example.
Uh-huh.
Sean Woods, I don't know if you've met Sean, played for Kentucky, was a star at Kentucky. We're real good buddies. I covered him for years.
Mhm.
All his games here, basically. No, a
Uh-huh.
couple games on the road I didn't go to, but I interviewed him a gazillion times. Does a show all the time, and he's from Indiana, but he considered himself a Kentucky boy because he played with the Kentucky
Right.
boys, Feldhouse and Farmer, and all that kind of stuff. So my perception was, even though your son is from Beckley, West Virginia, when he talked about
Right.
coming to camp here as a little kid with his brother,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Cal was the coach. To me, my instant reaction is, well, he might live in West Virginia, but he's like a Kentucky boy as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It really does. I get exactly what you're saying there. Not only did we came a couple times, to the Father Son camps. So, and we watch it on TV, like they rooted for Kentucky. To be honest with you, and I'm just being honest, we're having a conversation here. I wasn't a Kentucky fan. They were the Kentucky fans. You know what I mean? So, and it forced me to like Kentucky after the fact,
Okay.
So, yeah, and that's just being honest, So, yeah, it's just one of them things, and they took a liking to Kentucky right after the camp. So I mean, it was a fun time, fun camp. Get to interact with your boys. So the first time I took just the two youngest, and then the second time I took all three of my boys. So yeah.
So what were you a fan of? What team growing up? And by the way, this has happened a million times. Mom or dad like a certain school, son or daughter wants to go somewhere,
Right.
and you start wearing their jerseys. It's your kid. That's as natural can be.
Exactly.
So what was
Yes,
your
sir.
favorite team growing up?
So my team growing up was the Georgetown Warriors.
Okay.
That was my team.
Have you ever read John
Can you hear me?
Thompson's book? Have you ever read John Thompson's book?
I haven't. I have not. But
Spectacular. I recommend it highly.
really,
I recommend it
okay.
highly. It's stuff I didn't know. The land, for example, in Georgetown, where the college is at,
Mm-hmm.
to be a place where they sold slaves.
Oh wow.
What he did growing up. Let's put it this way. I bet now you read the book.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, it was fascinating. Text me
Okay.
after you read the book. I will be shocked beyond belief, being a Georgetown fan, and for everything that John Thompson did for people and sports, and the strong man that he was, and how education was so important to him. And he's the one, I can't imagine
Right.
he's the first one to do it, but he'd go to camps and he'd hold a basketball, and I'm sure you've heard about this. He would take a pin and stick the pin in the basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And as he was talking, big man that he was, he would be squeezing the ball, and he's talking about, hey, when you're done playing sports, guess what happens? The air of the ball goes out. Now, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And he was for education, and he was tough, and I had a ton of respect for him. So you're a Georgetown fan. I'll be shocked if you don't love it.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Okay. Good deal.
So
Yeah, I will definitely read that.
describe your son if you're playing Dick Vitale. Play a little game with me if you don't mind. You're Dick Vitale, and you're watching highlights of your son playing ball. How does dad describe son?
Man, first and foremost, he's a winner. He loves to win. He's very competitive. He's competitive. Can shoot the ball really well. Believe it or not, he likes to facilitate. He likes to facilitate a lot, to be honest with you. And he's a great teammate. He brings energy. He's just, I mean, from what I gather from coaches and stuff like that, and actually one of his AAU coaches was sitting right beside me in the car, You know, he just and he was a high school coach as well. He he's just a joy to be around.
Now, there's only one issue. We got to put weight on your son. I'm sure you've been trying. Kentucky's been trying, but
yes, sir.
I love his potential. I don't like his potential. I love his potential. He's got a feel. The few I haven't seen him that much, but he's got a feel.
Yeah.
He's got a great shot. He's quick. He sees the court. What I think he's got the it factor. I want to see him some more, but and his wingspan is 7'3". That's crazy. I mean,
yes, sir.
I would think over a couple of years he'll put on 25, 30 pounds. He's never going to be thick. But, you know, there's a lot of guys in the NBA that aren't thick, but they're strong enough. I don't care if your son lifts weights from here till he's 40 years old. He ain't going to be thick, but that doesn't mean he can't be strong enough and strong.
Strong, yeah.
Do you agree with me?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. But believe it or not, he's already put on 19 pounds.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's already
let's
put
put
on
this
19
way.
pounds, and he's still,
Well, you know, and I would think your son, Noah's a really good example. Most kids don't do anything compared to what happens when you come to a place like this. It's not that they were lazy in high school, they didn't have good coaching, or that's not where I'm coming from. But you have a regiment, regiment lifting, and I don't know this, but I wouldn't be surprised if 9:30 at night it is strongly suggested that he have an extra milkshake, you know, or that kind of thing. And the fact that you can put on 19 pounds with all the workouts he's doing, that's really impressive.
Oh yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah, it is. And that was one thing. And one thing like you pointed on is just like, as long as he gets stronger, we're not really worried about that. Like, I ask him now and I'm like, so what do you think about? He's like, Dad, it's just basketball. He said, it's basketball. You get to your spots. It doesn't really affect him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he knows he's got to get stronger, of course. Like, we know that, but like, it doesn't affect him to the point where it's, you know, not, you know, like it's harming him or anything like that. No, he's out there playing. He's going at you. So that's his mentality, you know, and his mentality is just to work, you know, like he's a workaholic. Like, I don't really get to talk to him too much because he's always in the gym. Only time I can catch him is real late at night for a few minutes, and then shoot, he goes back to the gym. So, I mean, he's always in that gym. You know, I might get to talk to him like maybe once a day. That's about it.
I get it. And he's having a ball. You know, here's my suggestion, and you're going to smile. So, not Dennis Johnson. I've been close to the Johnson family forever. I was very close with Jasper's grandfather. Dennis says I put him on TV when he was in second grade. I say it was fourth grade because he was a football phenom. It's one of the great families and great families, forgetting about sports, that you're going to run across. Well, Jasper has the same situation as Braden does. Got to put weight on. Big deal. So Derek, his uncle, who I've known forever as well, was on about a week or two ago, and he was talking about, you know, that they're putting weight on him and he's getting weight and stuff. So he goes to his grandmother's, and I think he said in 3 days or 4 days, he put on 7 pounds eating his grandmother's pancakes, which were great.
Oh, wow. That's a good one. That's a good one, yeah.
So maybe Braden needs to go home with Jasper. And
Jasper.
I know his grandmother, and guess what? She'd only be only too happy. And by the way, they're not pancakes. It's like takes up the whole plate. So So Derek says that he can eat
about that.
Yeah, that he can eat like 3 of them and but they're humongous. So my guess is if they spent the weekend getting 2 or 3 meals that way, sneaking, and they probably have a great time because where they live, it's a beautiful part of Kentucky, all that kind of stuff. I bet it would help both of them put weight on.
Yes, sir. That's a good one. You know, and they're pretty close. So that whole team is pretty close. With him and Jasper are pretty close. I'm gonna have to tell Braden, hey, you gotta get over there.
And matter of fact, if he mentions it, I'm sure the invite will become instant. Did you expect your son to come to a group of guys that are as close as we keep on hearing? Did you anticipate that, or as a dad, you're hoping that, but you really don't know?
Well, you didn't know until you got there. You know, you always are hoping for like a good culture, you know, things of that nature. You're hoping for that. But like when when we got there and realized that I tell you, not only were the parents, I mean, the players were close. The parents became, close, talking to people like some of the new people that, I got to meet, like when we were there, like, cause it was like Cam Williams, dad, and Jalen Lowe's parents and Denzel's family. Like we bonded, the first time we met, and like when I was talking to some of the other parents, they was like, we didn't do this at other schools. This was our first time, our first go around. They were like, we never done this. You know what I mean? And they were just like, it's something special. If the parents can bond like that, just think about that. The parents are bonding compared, and they even have like a group chat with the moms and things of that nature. So if the players' parents are doing that, just imagine like what the players are doing, how close they are.
I think that's wonderful. And you know why it doesn't surprise me? Because one of the things I think, and Pope's not the only one, but one of the things he's really good at,
right.
He's not going to be around a jerk. I that's the one thing I'll be shocked if he makes a mistake on recruiting. And so when you have, when I'm calling your son a kid, please, I'm not being disrespectful, just the way I speak.
Oh, no, I understand. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
I'm much older than you. Let's just leave it at that.
I got you.
Hey, I'm 73 today and still doing this. So,
wow.
I'm having a great time. But my point is, when you have these kids, let's take the parents out of it, that seem to be such great kids. Well, normally, that means they usually have great parents. So it doesn't really surprise me. Now, I could see your anticipation, like, how is it going to be? How will people react to me? That's a normal thing. You only care about your son, right? And as long as your son's happy, you're happy. But this is an added plus.
Right.
You all get along as parents. It doesn't surprise me because of the quality of the kids, which means you're talking about the quality of the parents. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you're exactly right. You're exactly right. I agree with you 100%. Totally agree with you 100%. And that's big, and it's a plus. And and like they're all super close. And I remember asking Braden, I said, "So, how do you like it?" And his response was, "I love it."
Wow.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
As a dad, does it get any better than that?
It doesn't get any better than that. Like, it really doesn't. Like, yeah, it doesn't. And it makes me happy to know that, he loves it and he's happy. He loves being there. I can't get him home that much anymore. Like, when they have time, I had to pull teeth to get him back to West Virginia.
Nice problem to have. Okay. Tell me what it was like. Did Pope come to your house? When is the first time you had a face-to-face with Pope? I'm curious what you expected, and I'm curious what you thought about Pope's great energy. By the way, when he played here, I covered him as a TV guy. And so I've interviewed him many, 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 many times back in the old days. But I'm always curious of people's reaction when they meet Mark for the first time. Where was it? What did you anticipate? And then what was your feeling when it was over?
Well, so the first time with him, it was because when Braden was at West Virginia, he decommitted. And the day that he decommitted, we announced that he decommitted, we got a call from Coach Hart, because Coach Hart was already recruiting him beforehand. A lot of people didn't know that, but Coach Hart had started recruiting him back in July of last year. So once he decommitted, Coach Hart said, "Hey, Coach Pope seen that Braden decommitted. Definitely interested," because Coach Pope had seen Braden play, because he came to the game in Lexington when Braden played against Jackson Johnson. And that's where Coach Pope seen Braden play at that time. But at that time, he was already committed to West Virginia. So, but he went back and told Coach Hart and said, "Hey, that Hawthorne kid can play, but we was already committed." So of course they couldn't say anything. But as soon as they found out, they called right away. We talked to Coach Pope on the first time, because at that time that's when March Madness was going on. They were in the tournament. So it took a minute for us to talk to him, but we first talked to him on a Zoom, and it was awesome. And he wanted us to come on a visit, and we came on a visit. So we actually met him when we came on our own. Braden came on his official visit there.
How many times have you met somebody that enthusiastic in your entire life?
Not a lot, and it's just he's an unbelievable person. He's a fantastic person, and that has not changed.
I think I just lost you for a second. Walter Hawthorne is kind enough to join us. Jimmy, do we have him or did we lose him?
He's still there, but
I'm still here.
There he is.
Okay. Well, I thought we lost you for a second.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can now.
Okay.
Please continue,
I got
sir. No, all good.
He's like I said, he's a fantastic person. He has not changed from the time we met him. He's the same person from the very first time that we met him. Just an awesome person. That's all I can say about Coach Pope. Like he's fantastic. Braden loves him.
Wow. Doesn't get any better than that. Anything else about your son being here and you making the transformation from a Georgetown fan as a kid growing up to a Kentucky fan, which I think is great, by the way. I'm not picking on you because it happens all the time. I mean, unless you're from the state of Kentucky, I mean, people are fans everywhere. I mean, you know, anything else about your son being here or about his game or anything you want to share? And you've shared a lot. And this has been such a fun time because we have people all across the country listening, getting to know you and your son.
Gotcha. Let me think of something that you should know about Braden. Let me think. Believe it or not, he loves to eat.
What?
He loves to eat. That's like, that is one of his things. Like he loves to eat. Like he loves to eat. Like he loves to eat different foods, try different foods. Like he loves to eat.
It's very difficult for anybody to get me speechless. You just did.
Yes, sir.
Oh my gosh. And Walter, here's the other thing. I say this with loving kindness. I am so jealous of your son. It's not even funny to be that skinny and love to eat.
Yes, indeed. Like he loves to eat. You know, he's always been like that. Like he loves to eat. Like he does.
Well, they'll keep on.
A lot of people wouldn't think so, but yeah.
Well, if he's already put on 19 pounds, I would think by, camp next year, he's probably put on another 18 to 25 pounds and the strength will be totally different. Look, thank you so for your time. I hope this is as much fun for you as it was for me. Maybe down the road after your son's played a couple really good games, gets a chance to get in there, we can chat again. I hope you realize that there's a lot of people that are rooting like crazy for your son and believe that he has a great future. And what you said about how he loves it here, loves his teammates. He's in the gym all the time. He's having, the time of his life, and he loves to eat. That's unbelievable.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, I appreciate you having me on, and that means a lot. Just to have me on to talk about them. I really appreciate you guys, and I appreciate all the fans out there that support. It's been fantastic. I want to thank the fans as well.
Well, your journey has just begun in Lexington, KY. Walter, thank you so much.
Yes,
enjoy tonight, and I'll catch you down the road. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you, guys. You have a good one.
You too. Jimmy, that was great. Was that great or what?
Yeah, I love the fact that he said he loves to. It didn't really surprise me that much just because there's so many like real skinny kids or athletes. Like the metabolism at that age is insane that he probably does. Everyone just looks at, why don't you just eat? I'm sure the kid, all he does is eat.
Now the kitchen will really be open 11 o'clock at night. It's not like it wasn't open at home, but if he wants a steak 11 o'clock at night, you think he's going to get a steak 11 o'clock at night? If he wants a milkshake at 10:30 at night, you think he's going to get a milkshake 10:30 at night? You think the training room is open for have you ever seen the training room they have for football now, by the way?
No.
Oh my gosh, it's unbelievable. Well, first of all, they're feeding 1 million kids.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. But there's and it's not just Kentucky, it's all over. There's so much food. It's incredible. And that's one of the advantages, let's say, and I'm not being disrespectful, that schools at Kentucky have an advantage over some tiny schools where they don't have the budget not saying these kids are starving, but they don't have the budget to feed young people the way they can now. I mean, I don't know this. I would assume, wouldn't you, that most of the big schools have nutrition experts now? I think that's been going on for a long time. I wonder, and I don't know this, to somebody like Eastern Kentucky, can they afford a nutrition specialist? Probably. Do they have the staff that way? Probably not. Just one of the many advantages. So how about this? He had a vision when Braden was born that he was going to play in the NBA. You've already figured out that's the clip of the day, right?
Yeah.
I'll send you a text, but it's at 12:34. Matter of fact, there's like 4 clips in here that would be really, really, really good. And here's the other thing. Comes across as a great guy, right?
Yeah. Very proud of his son.
As anybody would be. But he had an attitude about him that was, I thought it was special. So, Walter Hawthorne, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it tremendously. And I got to tell you, I appreciate tremendously Elliott Services. We need an electrician. And so somebody told me about Chuck Ely. Chuck came in a number of years ago, took care of us, and we needed something again because Judy now has the VC60, the Volvo that she loves, and it's a hybrid. So our system was awful. I mean, we couldn't plug something in where we live. That's how bad it was. And so he sent a crew out, and guess what? Boom. It is great. They changed our whole system, what we needed to do, and clean, honest, quick. Matter of fact, the garage was just as clean, maybe even cleaner, just as clean when they were done. So I recommend them highly. Elliott Service, 100% employee owned with licensed background check, non-commission based technicians. Think about that. The success of their job is the success of their company. Residential heating and air, you need it, whether it's installation, repairs, maintenance, it doesn't matter. They do it all. Home generators, including sales, installation, maintenance, repairs, and replacement. Home electrical handyman services, that's what we needed, and it was great. Include outlet repairs, which we needed, lighting upgrades and repairs, service panel replacement, circuit troubleshooting, EV charger installation and maintenance, heating and air, HVAC, whatever it is, they do it. And they were great for us. Elliott Services, jot this number down, 859-255-5788, 859-255-5788. That was really good. What a joy talking to his dad. And when you're a parent, obviously, and your child, male or female, doesn't make a difference, loves what they're doing and loves where they're at. Jimmy, is that about as good as it gets?
Yeah, and it does make it a little sweeter if they get to do what they love, but it's also what you love.
Yep.
Like that is the ultimate of the ultimate.
I will give you the over and under. He ends up reading the John Thompson book. I'd recommend it to you. You would really like it in all your free time. Well, I didn't read it. I do audiobooks. It was spectacular. It was absolutely spectacular. I mean, from his childhood, everything he went through, the way he was, it was a beautiful thing. Van Hiles coming up next. Hey, don't forget about my friend Terry Page. Went there yesterday. She helped me tremendously with my neck and shoulder or whatever. She's in Butler, Kentucky, Monday and Tuesday, in Lexington the rest of the week. 859-373-0578, 859-373-0578, 859-373-0578. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM.
Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by Quantrell Auto Group, QuantrellForLife.com.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. Have a no-filter comment? Hit the text line, 859-381-1313, 859-381-1313.
Outside, great selection of snacks is fully steady from the services rounding up the pack. They're rounding the turn. And it's Clark's Pump and Shop.
Get in the winner's circle with Clark's Pump and Shop. Stop by and pick up Sour Patch or Swedish Fish peg bags, 2 for $6, or Jack Link's Jerky, 3 1/4 ounce bags, 2 for $11. Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. The Quantrell Auto Group has a great deal for this month. Subaru. The Outback is special, so check this out. 0% That's right, 0% interest for 36 months. And if you want to spread it out to 72 months, 1.9%. What a deal! 0% interest for 36 months. Don't forget, the Quattro family of dealerships is the right place to get your next Subaru, and they promise you the best in sales, service, and no gimmicks.
My name is Terry Schultz, CEO for the Rutherford County Area Habitat for Humanity. Republic Bank has really been a game changer. They have invested not only financially, but time to really listen so that we can move our mission forward. What I like about Republic Bank is they've come in asking, what are your needs? And I don't know that you get that any other place.
That's Terry's story. Now let's get to work on yours. Republic Bank, time to thrive. Member FDIC.
Houchins Insurance Group is proud to partner with Auto Owners Insurance, a company that provides opportunity for independent agents to make insurance simple for their clients, offering risk management services that range from a renter's policy for your college student to home and auto coverage for your entire family. Houchins Insurance Group assures you that nobody works harder to keep you protected from life's uncertainties. Reach out to AJ Boss or Zach Bennett at 859-263-2771 to see if Auto Owners Insurance makes sense for you.
W223CV Lexington. ESPN Sports Radio 1392.5. WLXG Lexington and LM Communications Broadcasting Station. The only no-filter sports show in Kentucky. It's the Cutler Show with award-winning TV sportscaster Alan Cutler.
Absolutely. I mean, I think, again, we have shifted in the last 2-3 weeks completely, in a lot of ways for us offensively and trying to put the best plan together for us to have success. So it's schematically we've changed, mindset-wise and coaching him we have changed a ton. And, we were just talking this morning, him and I, and again, I think it's, he's showing a ton of emotion and that's how much he cares. And that's what, this town knows there's nobody who wants it more than him, but he's also got to realize how he's playing right now is due to the work he's put in the last couple of weeks, and there's a lot to be proud of.
Really good comment by Bush Hampton, and you can tell he's got a pep in his step because he's working with a young man. A coach is just a teacher. Okay, that's what a coach really is. And so now the teacher has a pupil who's got talent and is being a sponge and taking it all in and getting better. And there's enthusiasm in Bush Hampton's voice, the offensive coordinator. And when he talks about the mindset and how things have shifted in the last couple of weeks, I think it's a beautiful thing. I can't call this man a beautiful thing. He likes to bust my chops too much, but he's a great guy anyway. Former Studley DB, you're nodding your head if you're watching on YouTube. Van Hiles, kind enough to join us. You heard that soundbite, Van. One, thank you for joining me as always. And two, can you feel, I don't know how much you listen to the soundbites, everything out there I listen to. So if you don't listen to me, it's probably not fair throwing at you. I'm telling you, he's got a different level of enthusiasm in his voice when he's talking about Cutler. And I'm not saying he was down on Cutler before. Don't go there because that's not where I'm going. It's now hit a positive new level. 31-39. Come on.
Yeah, it is this. I'm a bust your chops a little bit. You were right, but you're wrong. Here's the thing.
You're going to tell me where I'm wrong first, right?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you. It's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate that all coaches are not teachers. You are right. Coaches should be teachers, but there's a lot of coaches that are not teachers. They are just prophets of their theory or scheme, where they just want to fit somebody in their scheme and just don't teach them. You got to know it.
Well, hang on. I got to stop you. I'm not suggesting every coach is a teacher, but a coach in his pure form is a teacher.
Yes.
I am correct about that. And there's some horsepuck coaches who shouldn't be coaching. And there are teachers in a classroom that are great teachers, wonderful kids. And there are teachers in a classroom that shouldn't be in the classroom because they can't teach. So I wasn't wrong. But in the perfect sense of the word, a coach is a teacher.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. So you need to apologize to me.
Well, first of all, I said you were right.
But
then you were wrong.
So wrong.
I gave you your props for being right, what they should be, but you was wrong at that. All of them. It was too generous. I'm just joking.
Well, I know you are. But wait a second. But your point. I'm curious. I know you're joking, but it's a really good point. There's a lot of coaches that are lousy teachers and they shouldn't coach. But the coach, in its purity, is a teacher.
Right.
Did I need to say purity? I thought it was as obvious as
probably. Probably, and
on my birthday, I have to lay it out for you that exactly.
It's your birthday?
Yes.
Happy birthday. How old are you, Mr. Cutler? You're 90 or 91?
89.
I was close.
Yeah, 73.
So here's the toughest thing about being a play caller is developing that relationship. And unfortunately, honestly, that relationship was not bolstered earlier, so they could have had a full season of development and understanding each other because of what happened last year, the 4-8 season. You can see, I'm gonna say this. I know, as Coach Smith used to say to us, I will remember the bad plays. You guys remember the good plays. Just remember that. Me as a coach, you remember the bad plays. And I know fans are getting on the 4 plays that were actually really bad play calls, for sure. No doubt about it. But when your quarterback goes 31 for 39 against that defense, when you put up almost 400 yards of offense on that defense, he called a heck of a game on Saturday. Unfortunately, it's overlooked by 4 horrendous calls.
You can't forget the 4 horrendous calls.
No, that's what I'm saying. But it's overshadowed by, if you look at the totality of the game, and if you want to get into it, I'm going to say this. Those 4 plays should not have even happened, because the play before the play should have not allowed it to even get to that point.
I agree. Here's what I don't know. Stoops doesn't call plays, but he does do this. I use this example because he told us one time 1,000 years ago, early on in his career, Kentucky had the lead. There was about 4 minutes to go. Eddie Grand, I believe, was the coordinator then, if I recall correctly. And he didn't tell Eddie what plays to call. He said, Eddie, run the ball, ice the clock. And then Eddie picks the plays. He's going to do what his boss says. That's just the way it is. I would love to know. And I would love to know if Stoops said run the ball. I have no idea. I'm not going to guess. I have no idea. Because you have a mobile quarterback, okay? You can roll him out. You can play action. You can have a tight end block and just roll out in the end zone. Gee, the play that Vandy did where they got a touchdown. The play calling was dumber than a box of rocks. And by the way, had it worked, I still wouldn't have liked it. Because here's why. I would like that they got in the end zone. I'm not going to be a hypocrite here. Texas has people on the defensive line. They're going to make more money on Sundays than Kentucky has on the offensive line. Plus, they were pinched in like crazy. Plus, their strong safeties, a couple of them look like they're as strong as some of Kentucky's linebackers. Tell me where I'm wrong.
I'm going to tell you this. If you watch The Locker Wednesdays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you would have heard the smartest comment that's ever made about that situation, on top of what I added. Anthony White hit me with something that I didn't even think about. Here's the interesting thing about that situation. Do you know that we did not call a timeout at all? Which means that they had a plan. You might not like the plan, but they had a plan. Second thing, I got 3. The second thing is, the interesting thing is Dante Dowdell was in on all of those plays, which means they had a process that they wanted to go through on that drive because you didn't want to sub. Here's the thing that I saw live. You ran, I think it was inside zone after the jet sweep. You ran inside zone. The next play, you ran orbit motion, inside zone fake. Texas played it perfectly. That was your counter to, as everybody would say, well, why didn't he roll the quarterback out? That was his roll the quarterback out on second down. On second down, he said, oh, let me get him. They pinching. Texas played it perfect. They played the orbit sweep perfect. And Cutler on that, if he presses the outside of when he scrambled, he scores. He went inside. There's too many guys pursuing inside. He should have went inside. He would have kept pressing to the pylon. He scores. So for me, I understand the third down because you tried the quarterback sweep, the bootleg, the naked boot. You tried that. You tried the inside zone. Now let's see. We're at the 1 yard line. Let's see if we can leap over the top. The fourth down play shouldn't have happened, and that's on Stoops, because Stoops should have. As fans don't know, only one guy on the sideline has the universal switch, and that's Stoops. Stoops should have switched to offense and said, "Hey, we're going to kick the field goal." The fourth down play shouldn't happen.
So I can't tell you the year it changed, but it seemed like as coaches started going for it on fourth down, it was almost like if they didn't go for it, they were going to get criticized. And I think some coaches changed because of the criticism. What? You don't have confidence in your team and stuff like that? I wanted them to kick the field goal because even though Texas has a really good field goal kicker, you figured the worst thing that could happen because the worst thing could happen, Texas could score a touchdown, but Kentucky's defense was so good. Have some damn confidence in your defense is playing their fannies off. I was using another word. They're playing their fannies off. So I would go into this thinking, okay, at least I'm going to get another set of downs because the defense has been so good. And now I'm starting with first down again. That was my logic at the time. That was my logic. And it's like he didn't have enough confidence in his defense and his defense as a coach. Agree or disagree, then I have to tell you the part that bothered me more than anything else. But you go.
No, for sure. Look, for me, I would not have had a problem. Look, here's the thing. Texas won a coin toss, right? Why did Texas want to go second? Because they want to see what we would do to determine how they approach their series of plays.
And that's
so when you win, you got to win the first series when you go first. Win the first series of plays, and that could be going to the second. Now on the second one, if we're last, I would have no problem with us going for the win in. You know why? Because when you score a touchdown, the coaches storm the field, the students storm the field, everyone storms the field because you won the game. If you go and score in the first, no one storms the field. Because you know why? Because the opponent gets a chance to match you. I have no problem with them going for it on the second, but on the first one, it doesn't make sense to me, especially the way your team was playing. Now, if our defense was giving up 500 yards of offense and the opponent was scoring every other drive, then I would understand because the coach is like, well, they get the ball on the 25-yard line. They've been scoring us all game. They probably going to score. Not in this situation. The game dictates how you handle the overtime, and they didn't handle the overtime according to how the game was going.
If the quarterback for Texas, if his last name was Van Hiles, where would he be playing quarterback today?
Texas. Look, here's the thing about me with him, and maybe I'm a little biased because I like the Manning family. That kid can play. That offensive line stinks, and that's a big problem with him this year. He's also in his seventh start. It's not like he's been starting and he still stinks.
And by the way, he sat out a long time, and I'm huge on when you sit out, you can get RUST. You can get rust versus if you play right away and you get comfortable.
Here's the other thing. Is his whole family has said he's coming back. They know he needs development. Like, it's not like, like somebody's been, our kid's going to come out next. No, he's coming out. You have not heard that from any other Manning family because they know he needs time. So here's the thing. He needs time. He is basically he is Cutler Bowley starting. He's going to have bad times. He's going to have good times. Here's the thing. The bad part about him, Mr. Cutler, is if his name was Hiles, he would not have had the preseason expectation for a guy who has started 2 freaking games in college football to be the Heisman Trophy frontrunner. That makes no sense. So if his name was something else, he would also have less pressure on him.
Yeah, and might be further along. And it looks like, you never know what's internal in a kid, but it looks like he's handling the pressure great, but he's still human. He's still human. Okay. Here's what bothers me more than anything else. I've made a big deal of this all week. 14 seconds. 14 seconds. They kicked the field goal with 14 seconds. After the field goal was made, there was 9 seconds left. Not to trust Cutler, not to trust your offense, to throw the ball in the end zone. Tell Cutler, 3 seconds, let it rip. Throw it in the end zone. If it's incomplete, it's incomplete. If it's picked, God forbid, it's picked. What I didn't like, hang on. In other words, you live with what you do based upon the circumstance. I don't want it picked. You want him to throw it away. In other words, what I'm trying to tell you, you make the right decision for the right decision. Hang on. When you have 14 seconds, it's 1,000,000 to 1, Kiffin goes for the ball, goes to throw in the end zone. It's not 3 seconds. It's not 5 seconds. It's not 10 seconds. It's 14 seconds. You take the ball and you throw it in the end zone, and you only get it to where your guy can catch it or it's incomplete, and then you kick the field goal. What you're telling your kids are, I don't trust you to try to win the game. You're taking confidence away. You're shaking your head. You're going to be one of 2 people to disagree with me. You got 14 seconds to go. Hang on. You trust that Cutler won't throw a pick. You trust that Cutler can get the ball out of his hands. You trust that Cutler will throw it in the end zone, and you still have probably 4 to 7 seconds left to kick a field goal. You're going to disagree with me. I can't believe it.
You said 1 or 2. Who's the other one?
Oh, I'm sorry. This is the thing that bothered me. Oh, the second thing is, you're right. I'm sorry. What bothered me the most, thank you, I need to get the quote, but the paraphrase is, when Stoops faced the media, he said, I couldn't have even come in here if something happened and we couldn't kick the field goal. I couldn't come in here. And my thought is, the hell with the media. You can't be thinking of that.
Oh.
Hang on.
No, you're right.
Thinking of what is best for my TEAM. It's a pure decision. You have 14 seconds left. Don't they practice situation football? Don't they practice that? I would assume this couldn't be the first time that in some sort of drill and practice on a Tuesday or Wednesday, 10 seconds left on the clock, ball to 25. This is what we're going to do. You got 3 seconds to get rid of. This is situation football. This is normal stuff. If they haven't practiced that, any coach that doesn't practice that ought to be fired immediately. I'm going to guess they practice that. I'm going to guess they do. It's situation football. And here's one more. When you don't let your team throw the ball in the end zone to try to win the game, low percentage, but come on, we've seen plays that have worked better than that. You're telling your team, I don't believe in you because there was enough time for you to make a play. Kiffin does that. That's coaching. That's really bad coaching. Everybody makes bad decisions. Not every show of mine is as great as you think it is. It's just life. I get it. Mistakes are made. You have 14 seconds and you're telling your kids that I don't trust you to make a play. I thought it was disgusting. Little things are big with me, and that personifies what's been going on here for about 3 years.
All right. First of all, every show with me is your best show, so don't say that again.
Wait a second. Did you listen to Walter Hawthorne and what he talked about his son the last time? It was great. It was great radio. And
I'm going to have to go back and listen.
And the vision he had for his son when he was born going to the NBA. What a lovely man. So let's put it this way. If you're number 2 today, you've done a good job.
Okay, that's fair.
Gene Abel isn't even here yet.
Well, Gene's got tough shoes to follow then with the 2 before him.
You know what he does all the time? He goes, why did you have me follow this person? Why did you have me follow that person? Anyway, and you know what? Yeah, and it's always, I hate to admit it, but the truth is it's always a good show when you're on.
I'm glad I'm honored for you to have me on, seriously, every week that I'm on. That is great. Here's the thing. Like I just said earlier on the overtime, where prior plays dictate how you run the next plays. The reason why you cannot chance it is that, one, you blew it on the first drive and didn't get points, right? Do you want to go into overtime 7-0? Nope. You would like to go 7-3. Second thing, the most important thing is the play before that play. Mr. Cutler, for all the people who complain about in the half, in the game operation, we had the ball on the minus 10-yard line with 67 seconds left and got it to the 29-yard line. Think about that. If I would have told you that before the game, guys, we're going to get the ball at the minus 10, and we're going to have a chance for a field goal. You'd be like, not with this team, not with this coach. The way he handles management, the way he managed times, it's going to, no way. They got there. This is the second game they've gotten there. All right, here's the thing. We had a timeout. It was beautifully ran. I don't want to go through every play, but it was ran to perfection. We had a timeout. They brought boundary side defensive end linebacker, and Cutler didn't see him and gave up a sack. So therefore, we had to use our final timeout. If Cutler, that's his guy, in protection, the quarterback, if you send out 5 to 6, the quarterback has a guy. He can't block him, obviously, but he's supposed to replace the ball with him. He had Willie Rod wide open when that linebacker blitzed.
Yeah, he did.
He took a sack. As you saying, do you trust your quarterback? Your quarterback just proved, even though he played an elite level game, he proved the play before that I cannot trust him because here's the thing. If I take a sack, you get nothing. You get nothing. And here's the thing. Since I've heard that the place kicker can kick 60 plus yards, you could have ran possibly a 5-yard out. You could have ran something that gets you out of bounds, right? You can't throw into the end zone, but you could throw an out route, give your kicker 5 more yards. Well, you know what? You wouldn't have had to give him 5 more yards if you don't take the sack the previous play. And you have a timeout.
Okay, I'm with you on the sack. It's really a poignant point. You can't take the sack. He took the sack. He shouldn't have taken the sack. He was sacked 5 times. I'm assuming some of them were his fault with the sacks. I'm assuming some of it was the offensive line, the combination. I don't know.
Yep.
Okay, that's for you to say. I'm not going to go back and look. Here's my point. The bad news is you're right. The good news is you're wrong. Which you want first?
I want the good news.
Okay.
I want to know why I'm wrong.
Okay, because although you're absolutely right, how many times have you seen a hitter in baseball who struck out 3 times and the 4th time he hits a home run to win the game? And so what you're doing, you're stereotyping this young man because he did make a mistake, and you are absolutely right that he can't make another play. You have to live with his growth. You're absolutely right by pointing out Rodriguez was open. He didn't get to him. He didn't see it. You take a timeout and you say, hey, here's the play. And this is what you're going to do. You can't take a sack. That's the final instruction. You can't take a sack. If guys come and just throw it away. If you can't trust Cutler to do that, then he shouldn't be your quarterback. If you can't trust the Manning to do that, he shouldn't be the quarterback. If you can't trust Van House to do that, he shouldn't be the quarterback. Because the point is, every play is different. You're right. He's growing. You're right. There's maturity. And I think you're telling me too, considering how many snaps he had, the kid's doing unbelievable. And so you have to trust he can make a play. You're going to have to live with it. You're going to have to live with it. And fundamentally, here's my problem with you. Your A to B gets to C. Because I'm a logic person, and your logic makes sense. And I respect you, and I respect that. Here's where you're so wrong, it's not even funny. You got to trust people to do things. The kid was 31 of 39.
Not at that point. He was not 31, 39 at that point. He threw a pick. He threw a pick, and he took a sack at a bad point.
Okay, you know what he said about the pick? And by the way, all his fault. And it was a terrible pass, and I put that in my notes. You know what he said? My fault. I slipped. I was trying to throw it out of bounds. He slipped. And by the way, I know what you're about to say. Suppose you got 14 seconds and he slips, gets his knee down, the game is over. You're absolutely right. You can't live being chicken. You have an opportunity. Do you remember before you were born when your dad was playing football, what do they used to say about the forward pass? 2 things bad can happen, and so therefore we don't want to do it. You have to let people make a play.
I don't think it's chicken. Here, I'm going to give you this scenario. What if, and this is the whole what if. Let's say the first drive, they score, and we up 7-0. Let's say another drive, they kick a field goal, and we up 10-7. 10-7, that situation, coach might be more, have a more at ease situation to do what you want to do. We were down 7-0 for an offense that played better than their offense in the first half. And you go into overtime and you go into halftime with no points when you play better than them. That's why look, That's why I say on the first drive they should have kicked a field goal to give this team confidence. I want people to understand Texas is top 2 defense in conference. They're top 5 defense in the country. The week before, Oklahoma scored 6 points on them. Oklahoma's offense is way better than our offense. In week 1, Ohio State only scored 14 points on them. This defense is elite. You have to put points on the board when you get a chance. Against this defense, you have to. And we left 6 points on the field in the first half. Period.
I don't disagree with that. You didn't answer the question, but that's fine. I guess what we have, seriously, because your argument was very logical, Van. That's what bothers me. I'm not surprised. I'm teasing you now. Sometimes you need to trust. That's all I'm saying. You are absolutely right. I got to go in about 30 seconds.
Okay.
You're absolutely right about what you said, which I knew you would be, but you did it even better than I thought you would, which ticks me off because it helps your argument. But I guess you and I just philosophically are so different. You take the time out, you say, hey, Cutter, you can't take a sack. If you feel anything, just throw it away. Just throw it away.
I'm going to give you a quick one.
That's all.
I'm going to give you a quick one.
30 seconds.
Because if it was played when I played, I would give you even more credence. But with the headphone in the helmet, I guarantee you the play before, Bush Hammond said you can't take a sack in this situation. I guarantee you. Because we only got one timeout. We saving that timeout to bring the field goal team on.
I would bet you're right. Okay, last one. Real quick. You can respond real quick, and then we got to go.
Okay.
Guy's a great free throw shooter. Okay. Shoots 86%.
Okay.
Okay. 25 seconds left in the game. You want him to have the ball in his hands. He goes up for a drive. He gets fouled, misses 2 free throws.
Ooh.
Now you get the ball back with 12 seconds to go. Are you not going to put the ball in the hands of your best player who just missed 2 free throws and trust they'll do it the next time? I know you're going to say best player. Cutler's best player on the team. You have to trust. Quick comment, and then we'll say goodbye.
Seth McGowan is the best player on offense. I will put the ball in his hands. He better be my 90% free throw shooter. So then I put it in his hands here because he's better than 86. 90 is better than 86 by 4. So I'm gonna put the 90% free throw shooter.
Yeah, but
I didn't answer the question.
You didn't answer the question, but if McGowan had an offensive line and their offensive line is much better, that is equal to his ability, then I would do it more. Since it's not, and I'm not ripping the offensive line, it is much better. I take the 90% away because you still got to be able to move those big bodies down low.
I'm just telling you in that situation, what happened prior, I'm doing the same thing. The only thing I'm doing different in that game, I'm kicking on 4th down. On the first drive, I'm kicking on in overtime on 4th down. Those are the 2 plays that I think Coach Stoops failed the team is he didn't kick the field goal and take the points.
Bless you, brother. You're the best.
All right, man. I appreciate it.
Hey.
Jimmy, give me more time next time, Jimmy. I blame you, Jimmy. I need 5 more minutes.
I'll get you at least an extra minute. I can get you a minute next time.
Okay, perfect. I'll take a minute.
You're complaining on my birthday. I can't.
Happy birthday, Mr. Cutter.
Thank you, brother.
Cutler. Why don't get you guys' name confused? I hate it. You make me look like I'm a dummy.
No, you know who else calls Cutter Cutler?
Who?
I swear to you. Ask Jimmy. Christian Alt's probably done it 4 or 5 times, right?
Really? Okay. Well, I don't feel so bad then.
Get off my phone. Hey,
y'all have a good one.
Hey, respect the heck out of you. Thanks, man.
Same here. I appreciate y'all.
See ya. Isn't that funny? Both he and Chris do that.
It is.
It is really.
And then now that I've thought about it, I've done it a couple times.
On the air with me?
I don't know if it's been with you, but just like
Matthew?
I think I've done it a couple times with Matthew. I catch it pretty quick, but in my head, I'm like, no, Cutler.
Well, if he wins the Heisman before he's through here, guess what? It'll be an honor.
Yes.
It already is an honor. Hey, it's an honor if you check out the Quantrill Auto Group. They have a special group of people, and their products are first class. Don't forget about the Subaru. The Outback is special, and they've got a deal. 0%, 0% for 36 months. And if you want to spread it out, 72 months, 1.9%. It's an amazing deal. And I've been talking about this. Is it a month? Judy's finally used some gas. We have the hybrid, the XC60. She loves that car. Loves it, loves it, loves it. It's the best vehicle we've ever had. It is so smooth. It's crazy. She's finally used a little gas. You get 41 miles before it just, boom, you don't even feel it. Goes right over to gas. And I don't know, she's used 2 gallons. It's pretty interesting, which also saves you a bunch of money. She loves that car. And we have now gotten 3 cars from the Quantrill Auto Group. They've treated us great. The way they hire people and what they're looking for, it's not unusual based upon the people they have, because I've been told how they hire people and what they look for. It's really special. The Quantrill family of dealerships. It's the right place to get your next Subaru. It's the right place to get your next Caddy. And they promise, Cadillac, they promise you the best in sales, service, and no gimmicks. I trust them. Gene Abel coming up next. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by Quantrill Auto Group. QuantrillForLife.com.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. Have a no filter comment? Hit the text line, 859-381-1313. 859-381-1313.
What's that?
Houchins Insurance Group is proud to partner with Auto Owners Insurance, a company that provides opportunity for independent agents to make insurance simple for their clients, offering risk management services that range from a renter's policy for your college student to home and auto coverage for your entire family. Houchins Insurance Group assures you that nobody works harder to keep you protected from life's uncertainties. Reach out to AJ Boss or Zach Bennett at 859-263-2771 to see if Auto Owners Insurance makes sense for you.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. The Quantrill Auto Group has a great deal for this month. Subaru. The Outback is special, so check this out. 0%. That's right, 0% interest for 36 months. And if you want to spread it out to 72 months, 1.9%. One deal, 0% interest for 36 months. Don't forget, the Quantrill family of dealerships is the right place to get your next Subaru, and they promise you the best in sales, service, and no gimmicks.
I'm Kathy Binkaman. Over the holiday, there was an attempted fraud attack. My personal banker, Mary Rose, and I networked together. And the first thing that I thought of was I have to text her. And it was just within the next few minutes, there was an entire team that came together collectively. And that's just not the type of service that you typically get from your bank.
That's Kathy's story. Now let's get to work on yours. Republic Bank. Time to thrive. Member FDIC.
What are you doing? I'm getting ready for Halloween. Well, it looks like your costume's ready, but what about your candy?
Well, you know, Dad and Uncle Rick, at Clark's Pep and Shop, we have some spooky deals. All month long, you can pick up 5-hour energy shots, 2 for $4.99. Rate sticks, buy one, get one free.
No tricks, all treats this October. Clark's Pep and Shop, return, refresh, refuel.
Back to No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler. Podcasts on Apple, Spotify, and Google, Monday through Friday.
Fun show. We're going to put this up as the clip of the day. Walter Hawthorne on his son Braden was absolutely spectacular, telling us how much his son loves it here. But the thing, and I'm going to introduce Gene hopefully properly, that was just wonderful. He shared a story about how he had a vision. He's a religious man, how he had a vision about Braden when he was born being an NBA player. He says he's put on 19 pounds since he's been here. And this is the part I know Gene is going to be jealous too. He loves to eat, which is a beautiful thing. Ladies and gentlemen, honored and pleased as always to have Gene Abel joining us, retired, outstanding sports editor of the Lexington Herald Leader. Gene, how are you?
Doing great, Alan. Happy birthday to you, Mr. Cutter. It's always nice when there's that warm feeling when you're older than I am for a period of time. But happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
And you, I guess you have me following 2 superstar guests again, but that's anyway. I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm good. It's funny because Van made the funny comment that any show he does, and he's always really good. You're always really good, but you know. Mr. Hawthorne was spectacular. Just, learning about a young person like that with his attitude and how he spoke it. So he said, "Man, you show I'm on, that's your best show." I said, "I'm sorry." I said, "Not today. Maybe you'll be number 2 because Walter Hawthorne was number 1 and Gene isn't on yet." He said, so
Yeah.
he did the same thing. Hey, why am I following these people? That's why the show is so good, because all the wonderful people agree to do the show.
It's nice to listen to proud dads. Just makes
Yes.
you feel good.
Yes. Yes, and you're as jealous as me that he loves to eat and he's super skinny, and I'm sure his dad is right that he's put on 19 pounds. And to put on 19 pounds with all the working out they do, even though the food is available nonstop and great food for them, it's interesting. He's already put on 19 pounds, and I can see him putting on another 15 to 25 between now and the start of next season.
All I could say is I'd love to have somebody tell me you can eat all you want and it's good for you. But yeah, he will he needs the 19 pounds and he needs some more, but he looks very promising. Looks like he could be a really productive player in that program.
He's got a feel. He's got a feel for the game in the short snippets that I've seen him. He's got a really good shot. His shot is quick. And I'm paraphrasing one of the things his dad said. He talked about the fact, okay, now you're going to college and you're playing with these guys, and these guys got more experience. It was kind of the inference, and he said to his dad, "Dad, it's just basketball."
Yeah.
How many times have you seen a kid? It takes a year or two to get adjusted because it's not just basketball anymore because of the pressure. It sounds like, okay, I'm a basketball player. That's one of the best things you can hear from a young, talented person.
And it sounds like he's having fun, and you're not going to be productive if you're not enjoying it. And as he puts on that weight, then his length becomes more of a factor. And in the end, I think that length is going to be very big for him.
Gene, his wingspan is 7 feet 3 inches. It's number 2 on the team. And I didn't know it was 7'3", but you see the young man, he's got long arms. I wouldn't have guessed 7'3". That's 7'3". No, the quote from his dad when he asked him, son, how he's doing, said, I love it. And that he's having trouble getting him home because he's having too much fun here, which is a nice problem to have.
Yes, that's a mixed feeling when you're an adult. You want your kid home, but you're happy they're enjoying themselves.
Well, the suggestion I made is Derek Johnson was on a couple of weeks ago, Jasper's uncle, and Derek's mom, who is a great cook, and apparently Jasper quickly put on 7 pounds. Was it 3 days or 4 days? No, I think he said over the weekend. And it's not just pancakes. He was saying they're like flapjacks, and it takes up the whole plate. And apparently Jasper loves the pancakes. So when he goes there, he wants to eat pancakes, multiple meals. So I suggested, you know what? Your son needs to go with Jasper. And apparently they're really good friends. And Mrs. Johnson will be only too happy to cook more pancakes.
And you know how many times the wonderful Albus sat down and had some of those pancakes, and my goodness, did he enjoy them.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. One of the great men you and I have really ever come across who just happened to be a great coach, just a great man first.
Yes.
And a coach second. This is goofy. I am so excited to watch this game tonight. I know it's exhibition. It doesn't count and all that kind of stuff. The last time I was this excited to watch a preseason game like this was when the Russians went against UK. That's a long time ago, Gene.
I'm not sure I've ever look forward to an exhibition game like this. Of course, there hadn't been one like this. I think it is important that everybody remember it is an exhibition game. It is October, and if they go out and win by 15 or they lose by 15, there's going to be overreaction, but try to tone it down. We're 5 months from when it really counts. Kentucky's going into the game with, if you ask me, 3 months ago, their 3 most important players, 2 of them aren't playing tonight. And you have to keep that in mind. But there is a lot. It's something to be excited about. You're going to find out a lot. It's going to be a learning lesson for Pope. He's going to find out a lot about his team he hadn't been able to see when they're facing each other all the time.
Are you suggesting that Kentucky fans might overreact to something? Are you okay?
That's really, really hard to imagine, but I think it's possible tonight.
Look, I'm surprised at all the questions that have been going on for weeks. Are you going to play to win? It's so silly, I think. Now, might more players play than would play if you're, let's say, playing Louisville? Yeah, I could see that because I don't see how you don't play more players. But the first time I heard this question, I'm going, what is wrong? Asking that question. Purdue's going to try to win. Kentucky's going to try to win. And the 11th and 12th man, I'm going to guess, on both teams will end up playing. And they should. It's an exhibition game.
I think as far as the players go, you 100% are playing to win. You want to find out things. You want to earn playing time. You want to prove you can play against the best. I think Mark Pope wants to win the game, but he also coaches to learn tonight. Is he coaching to win? Yes, he wants to win, but he's also got to learn some things. There's times tonight where he may play some people that he'll learn something tonight. In 2 months, he may not play them in the same situation. So the players, they're 100% out to win this game.
I think it's going to be fun. You know, it's crazy. I've heard some just goofy prices for this game.
Because I don't never know what to believe on the internet, I've seen that, and surely, I hope. Well, who knows? But yeah, I've seen goofy prices out there.
Yeah, it's just goofy. But it's Kentucky and the love for Kentucky, and when people believe sincerely that there's HOPE, hope, with this team, they go crazy, and I happen to think it's a beautiful thing.
What are you looking for tonight?
I'm looking for kids to play well together. I'm looking for kids defensively. From where I'm going to sit, it's tough to tell if they communicate and talk to each other. I'm looking to see how quickly they get the ball across the midcourt line, because what Pope wanted to do last year, he couldn't do because there were too many injuries in the point guard. I'm looking to see if there's a fast pace, and he's not going to hold back, and why would we? Why would he? I'm looking to see how many wide open threes they get, because they're moving the ball better than they have in the past. I'm looking to see if they screen better than last year, because that was one of my big pet peeves. I thought it was a bad screening team, and I said it many times on my show. I was surprised how bad they were screening. I'm looking to see if the guys go around screens and run harder than they did last year. I know what I would do. And when I'm showing screens, I would get tape from Seth Curry and his brother and see how they run around screens and how hard they run around screens. It's really tiring running around screens. I said Seth, I meant his brother, excuse me. It's hard to run around screens. It's an angle, it's sprinting, it's hard, but Curry has gotten so many shots because of how hard he runs around screens, even though he's getting all those attention. I thought that was an area that disappointed me. I want to see how they're rebounding. I want to see how they're boxing. I'm looking for all kinds of little things, just, stuff like that. What are you looking for?
My list isn't that long. It sounds like a Christmas list when you're 10 years old. I'm mostly, I want to see how they defend, and I want to see how physical they are on the boards or defensively, because I think those were the two areas from last year that need the most work. They're the two areas that we have heard they recruited into. Now, the pace, I understand what you're saying, but I think the guy that's going to set that pace for the year is going to be low, and I think he goes at a speed that they haven't had in a while. I really want to see how they defend and how they do with physicality, and that shows up in a lot of different ways: getting loose balls, getting rebounds, and defensively, and not letting them push you around. Because Matt Painter can coach, and Purdue's going to be they're a veteran team that knows how to execute.
And they're more than Braden Smith too.
Oh, yes.
They got another kid on. I got it in my notes. It escapes me, but they got two players preseason All Big Ten.
Right.
And Matt Painter is a hell of a defensive coach, and always has been a hell of a defensive coach. And it looks like that. I can't imagine them retiring. It's not like I have any inside information, but they're going to have two coaches, Gene Cady and Matt Painter, not yet, who will be two coaches at Purdue for over 50 years before it's all said and done. I think it's about 46 or something like that. That's remarkable. It's almost like Transy with the lanes. I mean, you just don't see that. And the job that he has done there is one of the better jobs in the last 30 years in college basketball. And he's only now getting his due.
Well, and that's sort of what unfortunately happens sometimes when you run a really good program, a winning program, but you don't win the big one. That's the true coaches and players, and
Yep.
he has not won the big one, but he has done a remarkable job there. They don't beat themselves, and which makes them a really good team to have this exhibition against, because they're going to play smart, and they're going to expose your weaknesses. And Pope's going to learn a lot about his team tonight, which is why you're doing this.
Excuse me, Gene. One of the things that I read something on him a couple of years ago, it was a thing on recruiting. And look, everybody wants the best athlete, and all that kind of stuff. But he said, I'll take a guy that's not nearly as good athletically if he'll do the little things when I'm scouting him. If he'll give the effort and be a good teammate and that kind of stuff. He said he'll always take the kid that's not quite as good. He said, now I want to get the kid that obviously is the most athletic, but what he has done, he doesn't lose a lot of kids which I think speaks volumes to him and his program, and the fact he really knows what he's looking for, and he's getting it.
And those type of players make you a TEAM. They make other players on the team better. And he doesn't have. Well, I mean, he's had some high draft picks, but he's not full of lottery picks and guys that are one and done. He gets good, solid players that know the system, learn the system, stay in the system, and they become very good teams.
Anything else you're looking for tonight before we flip to football in a second?
No, I mean, there's some individuals I'm not big on watching madness I do get a kick out of the blue-white game because they are playing hard against each other. The player that stuck out to me in the blue-white game was Marino. I'm interested to see how he plays tonight because he really held up against Garrison's strength, and Purdue is known for being physical, playing strong. I want to see how Marino does tonight.
Gene, I got to take a quick break. Can you hang on? Then I want to talk a little football for the last 2-3 minutes.
We can do.
Elliott Services, check them out. They've been great for me. Chuck Ely has become a friend, needed some work done. A number of years ago, a friend recommended. He came in and our electrical system was a mess. It just was a mess. And he fixed it. And then we needed an upgrade again because of Judy having the XC60, the hybrid Volvo, and our system was awful. Matter of fact, I was worried about a fire. I'm serious. We got lucky, and they totally changed everything. Had a crew come in there, kind, polite, whatever, EV charger installation and maintenance. I trust them. Elliott Service, 100% employee owned with licensed background check, non-commission based technicians. The success of their job is the success of the company. And think of anything you need: residential heating and air, everything, installation, maintenance, repairs, replacements, whatever, home generators, electrical handyman, upgrades, lighting, whatever, EV chargers, installation, heating and air preventative maintenance, voice, data, Wi-Fi solutions, underground utilities, electrical renovations, HVAC systems, you name it, they do it. Elliott Services, I trust them. 859-255-5788. Couple more minutes with Gene Abel coming up next. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by Quantrell Auto Group. QuantrellForLife.com.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. Have a no filter comment? Hit the text line 859-381-1313. 859-381-1313.
Houchins Insurance Group is proud to partner with Auto Owners Insurance, a company that provides opportunity for independent agents to make insurance simple for their clients, offering risk management services that range from a renter's policy for your college student to home and auto coverage for your entire family. Houchins Insurance Group assures you that nobody works harder to keep you protected from life's uncertainties. Reach out to AJ Boss or Zach Bennett at 859-263-2771 to see if Auto Owners Insurance makes sense for you.
Outside, great selection of snacks is fully steady while the drive-through service is rounding up the back. They're rounding a turn. And it's Clark's Pump and Shop.
Get in the winner's circle with Clark's Pump and Shop. Stop by and pick up 5-hour energy shots, 2 for $4.99, or Rolade sticks. Buy one, get one free. Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
Back to No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler. Podcasts on Apple, Spotify, and Google. Monday through Friday.
Gene Abel, kind enough to join us. Retired, outstanding sports editor, Lexington Herald leader. Gene, are you ready to say that Cutter is the man for the future and that he's going to blossom into a star based upon how he gets better and better? Your thoughts on Cutter Boley, 31 of 39, had the pick, but he said after the game it was his fault and he slipped. He was trying to throw the ball out of bounds. Your thoughts on Cutter?
Very impressed with Cutter Boley. I think they hopefully have found the quarterback they can build for the future. The thing that actually surprised me the most is I know he's big. I know he had a good arm. I know he had some athletic ability, but his escapability was the surprising thing to me. There was a couple plays. Well, the touchdown run wasn't really escape, but it was a nice play. But there was that play late in the game where he was all swarmed by, looked like 3 players, and you thought it was a sack. I think the TV people even said, there he goes. And all of a sudden, he just comes out of it and makes a little nice gain. I think they've got a quarterback they can build around now. There's a lot of building to do.
You know, I think if they keep on throwing 30 passes, 35 passes, that kind of thing in the offseason, who's ever coaching, you can recruit really good wide receivers if they think you're going to throw the ball. That's why the wide receivers aren't as good as they should be, because they don't think you're going to throw the ball. This could change everything.
I think that's a possibility. I'm going to be interested to see. They're going to have to start being able to show they can go deep, or they're going to still end out with a lot of games where Cutler's 30 for 39 or whatever it was, good numbers, decent yards, but not a lot of scores, because they're easy to shut down once you get it to the 20 and you take some of that away. And I think the problem with going deep, I mean, there are a few times Cutter could eat it or get rid of it, but I just don't think their receivers can throw are getting a lot of separation. Maybe you're right that you can get some receivers to do that. I think winning would still help.
25 seconds. Can they or will they beat Tennessee?
I think I said last week, expect Kentucky to throw in a teaser against Texas, and I think I said 17-14. They'd lose, and then at 16-13, think Tennessee could be a decent game. They've actually played them well the last few games at Kroger. They just don't win. I'm going to say that Tennessee 31, Kentucky 17.
Ouch. Gene, as always, thank you, pal. Have a great new glasses. Those new glasses?
No, I just wait around cheap reading glasses. You know, you can get them anywhere there. But you have a wonderful birthday, and at least tonight you can follow the Hawthorne theory, and you can eat all you want at your birthday.
Really?
Yeah.
The scale won't like me tomorrow. It doesn't like me today anyway. Hey, Gene, as always, dude, I really appreciate you. Thanks. Always fun.
Have a good one. Take care.
Too. Gene Abel. I got permission to eat as much I want. Thank you, Gene. Thank you. Hey, don't forget about Blue Lotus Health, 859-533-0914. Acupuncture, now also providing a licensed massage therapist. Ramon Carriega on Versailles Road. He's a special dude. He's helped me tremendously. Jimmy, have yourself a great weekend. At this show, I'm telling you, Walter Hawthorne was spectacular. If you're just joining us, Jimmy will have the podcast up in a couple of moments. ESPN Sports Lexington app or wherever you get your podcast. A very, very, very special half hour, and Gene was really good. Van House was really good. Brad Taylor coming up next. Matthew and Jimmy Monday at 10. I'll be back at noon. Have yourself a blessed weekend, and man, I'm looking forward